This guy's made up, but okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, he even says it, but I named him Daniel Murphy, which is why it says Daniel Murphy on here. Like, I made him kind of angry because he's a radiation scientist, and what they've kind of done isn't really fair to them, even though it ends up being a little ironic, but it's kind of a sassy speech, so okay, there you go. So there's your vocab that you don't have to do because you're lucky, and then, okay. Hey, what's going on? Yeah, that's cool. My name's Daniel Murphy. What's yours? I'm here to publicly address what happened at 3 Mile Island because everyone's pretty much peeing their pants over a tiny bit of radiation. It's just 1 or 2 mutations. Get over it, people. It's not going to hurt you. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to tie it in with a peanut farmer out in Washington posing as our president. Seriously, you better close his smiling buck-toothed mouth before he catches flies. He's done nothing but destroy my line of work. Okay, I'm sorry. Not even 2 minutes in, I'm blowing out smoke faster than a cooling tower. Okay, let me start out with Carter's domestic failures. Inflation still existed, so Carter tried fixing it with government deficit spending. The fancy-dancy Federal Reserve Board increased the money supply, causing inflation to rise 10%. Smart move, I guess. Carter then tried to slow the economy by cutting spending. Of course, these tactics didn't work, and faith in Carter was lost, just like his mind. Now I can talk about the interesting part. America had a strong need for a new, cleaner way to produce energy. President James Earl Carter Jr. created a new cabinet, the DOE, Department of Energy. That cabinet continued the norm of doing nothing but eating up tax dollars. The topic of 3 Mile Island, for those of you that don't know, there's recently been a meltdown due to operator error. A small leak in the cooling system caused the flow of coolant. Temperatures rose and we misread the symptoms. We then decided to commence an emergency shutdown in the coolant as a whole, allowing the meltdown of a reactor, accidentally leaking just a smidge of radiation. While the past is the past, don't blame us. To the 140,000 people who evacuated homes, joke's on you. Your ignorance, selfishness, and paranoia played you like a fiddle. Cry me a river. Ain't no radiation for miles. And to the bunches of reporters around here, go home. Once again, putting his nose where it didn't belong, James Earl Carter Jr. appointed a commission to investigate 3 Mile Island. The nerves of that man, after organization, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission became too costly to run, causing new plants not to be built. Way to go. If you're going to start to deregulate, don't leave the nuclear energy industry out. The list of mistakes goes on and on. He granted amnesty to draft dodgers of the Vietnam War. Okay. He had a weak support of social programs, economic problems, and foreign affairs, excluding civil rights, even though he put many minorities on his staff. Just because you appoint doesn't mean you won't disappoint. Some boy by the name of Alan Bake sued the University of California because he was rejected twice. He said that the policy reserving 16 out of the 100 class spaces violated It said the policy reserving 16 out of 100 class spaces for minorities violated the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Constitution. Later, it was turned into a Supreme Court case called something like the Regents of University of California versus Bake. Bake's admission was ordered, and the case signaled a start of white backlash against the policy. I mean, I guess if suing for reverse discrimination is the only way you're getting to a university, there's a reason you got rejected both times. But back to the Carter thing, some say his presidency was a reaction to Watergate, or a brief period of Democratic rule in a long Republican dynasty. I say it's its own scandal to nuclear power workers like me. There were serious flaws in the administration. There wasn't a strong or consistent leadership. In the end, your president, James Earl Carter Jr., lost the 1980 election. The nuclear industry lives on.